Thank you, Mr. Dedman. That was great. Reminding us all to keep it real. Our next speaker is Lawrence Pedro. Lawrence lives in Lani Puna Gardens, just below the brand new drilling rig. So he's here to tell you what that's like.
Hi. I went to Vietnam in 1967. At that time, they were spraying Agent Orange. A lot of you are old enough to remember Agent Orange. This is what I compare that place with what happened to me. If you don't speak up, the government won't make changes that will be beneficial for us. I think that many of you are good people. And I try to live in this way. The two R's, responsible, and respect. We all belong to this land. It's not only Hawaiians. All of you are just as responsible as me. So I come to you because in masses, we can convince these people to stop. But alone, I can't do it. And I just think that if they told us in Vietnam, they were spraying us with Agent Orange, I wouldn't have fought. That is not my war. I'm a Hawaiian Portuguese. And that wasn't my war. But they don't tell you these things because they know it's wrong. Same like the geothermal, you ask them what is coming out of there, they won't tell you. The only people that tell us is these people in this audience. Because I don't know. I'm not a scientist, I don't do all these things. So, as much as possible, I would like all of you to step forward and make them accountable. Accountable to us, the people who live in this district. I asked Mililani Trask, where you live? I live over here, right next to the geothermal. Where you live? You live in Honolulu, so you don't give a shit. I'm sorry.
That was pretty real. I like real. Thank you, Lawrence. That was great. Our next speaker is Aurora Martinovich. Aurora also lives in Lani Puna Gardens and has recently, I'll let her tell you, I don't want to ruin it. She's going to talk about relocation.
First, I want to thank everybody who's here. This has been the hardest past 30 days of my life. Puna Geothermal Venture is on about day 63 of drilling, 24 hours a day. Their permit says that they will drill on average 45 days. I talked to Mike Kolakini yesterday, and he said they're looking at drilling for another 30 days. So we're looking at 90 days of drilling. The things that Puna Geothermal Venture has claimed in their permits generally hasn't been true. I want to thank you personally for coming out here tonight. This is an auspicious meeting on the day after Earth Day 2012. I want to thank everybody who's helped me get through this hard time. Your energy and love has kept me going. I don't want any of you to have to live through geothermal drilling like we've had to. I've been through 25 years of geothermal drilling, and this rig, this well, it's getting worse. Whatever they're doing, and I think it's beyond power generation. I've met 3 people in the last 2 years that have worked at Puna Geothermal Venture. They have told me they all have to sign confidentiality agreements upon working there. They say they cannot tell me what's going on there, but they've all said the same thing. These are 3 different people at 3 different times have all said, PGV is not what it appears to be. I want to thank Mala'ina, Jim Albertini. I want to thank Polly Kapu of Kelly Defense Fund, and I want to thank Harry Kim of Civil Defense. Those are the only 3 organizations and people that have stood with our community when we were only 5 people in Wanipuna Gardens, and you guys are standing with us today. I appreciate your solidarity, and I would like to ask that the people that are here tonight, for whatever reason you're here for, whether it's the environment, whether it's for spirituality, economics, or you just want to live, and as long as we stand together, like Lawrence Pedro said, we can fight this fight and win. We got a little different dynamic playing here. I moved here 30 years ago, and I moved to Kalapana when it was a 1-lane road from Pahoa to Kalapana. Kalapana's gone now, as it used to be. When I moved there, the lava, there was no eruption. It was when a geothermal company decided to put a drill rig in Kaha'alea. And I was listening on the radio, and they said they had to fly helicopter in to pull the riggers out. That is what started the eruption that's at Pahoa today and continues. I can't prove this to you, but I'm going to tell you my gut feeling. Pele took care of the drill rig up in Pahoa, up in Kaha'alea. And while Keliopuna, the people fought united and stopped that geothermal development. There was a 3 megawatt plant right on the corner of Pohoiki Road and Leilani Estates. I moved in Wanipuna Gardens thinking, believing what was told, that geothermal is a clean green energy. And it just smelled bad when you drove by, until I lived there and I found out different. And I would wake up in the morning with my eyes crusted almost shut. And I would be coughing, and we would be getting sick. Every time it would rain, the gases would run along the ground. And when we were sleeping, we were getting gassed. The people shut down the 3 megawatt plant in September of 1989. In October of 1989, the planning department gave PGB a permit for 30 megawatts. Since then, the planning department has given PGB a permit for 60 megawatts. So that sounds like real bad news. But here's what it looks like from my perspective. I've been there before that power plant started. I know every sound it makes. I know when they start a turbine, when they shut it down. That power plant was struck by lightning on November 8th, 2011. Mike Kalakini called me as soon as it happened. We were getting gassed. We had to evacuate for the whole day. He said, this is the worst possible thing that could happen to a power plant. I think the gods might be talking to PGB when we strike them with lightning. After that happened, the power plant sounded hollow when it runs. It was shortly thereafter, February 25th, that they erected the drill rig. We've done some research and found out that PGB, instead of running at 30 megawatts, is running at 17 megawatts. I believe with those geothermal wells, they've been having to shut in those wells for the past 2 years, almost every 3 months. When they shut in a well, that 880,000 pounds per hour that comes out can't go anywhere. So it goes this way. I believe those casings are shot. It's venting underground like it did after the blowout, because we're getting rashes on our skin. Our animals are, our neighbors are. We've had goats that are up behind our house giving birth. Not my goats, fortunately. I've not bred my goats since PGB's activities, because I'm afraid to do this. The babies are getting birth, the mothers are dying. We've had sheep at farms down the end of the road. The mothers are giving birth, the babies are living. the mothers are dying. We recently had a horse in the neighborhood give birth, the mother died, the baby's alive. I believe that they're venting underground. They're losing their capacity to function, and that's why they've had to drill another well to try to bring up capacity. They're losing about $1 million in profit every day. So that's the good news. The good news is we're all here. It's a tough ride, geothermal. But if we can stop this one, I don't think we're going to have much more. I know many of you have heard about the relocation battle we've had. With everyone's help, the press, people coming out, we finally pressured the government to relocate us. When PGV got their permit, part of it was to give the county money to relocate people. They knew there would be an impact. Presently, there's 3 criteria. Want to relocate, live within a mile, and have your permit before 1989. Well, the planning department has already relocated somebody who didn't have a permit before 1989. At the recent council meeting of the Sustainability, Energy, and Agriculture meeting, it wasn't about relocation, but they asked me if I wanted to. I explained what was going on, and Brenda Ford mentioned there needs to be another hearing, and they may need to change the rules of relocation. No one wants to leave their house. This has been the hardest thing for me to do, but I can't continue to be poisoned every night, and I can't. My daughter has been gassed since she was 26, and since she was born, and she's 26 years old. I brought a map in the front that shows a 1 mile radius. I would like as many people as possible that are within that radius to mark it, so we can, one, help with relocation. We'd like to look at doing a health survey of the immediate neighbors and getting monitors for everybody. This fight is one we can win. We have to. Our life depends on it. We're going to do a presentation tonight to try to share with you as much in a short period of time of what we've learned in the last 26 years. I have some housekeeping to share with you. This is our 3rd meeting of Geothermal Neighbors. And our last meeting we did a voting to see what people's concerns were. So I'd like to just share with you a little bit about this, and this warms my heart so much. The top voting of our last meeting, 142 votes, went to spiritual and religious practices and rights of the Hawaiian people. What people shared with me was the kind of consensus was, if the Native Hawaiians and the Pele practitioners are taken care of, we're all going to be okay. And I think that's an agreement. 86 votes went to health concerns. 71 votes went to the location of geothermal in a residential area. 65 votes went to safety and evacuation. 30 votes went to monitoring of pollutants. And there was many other issues that are kind of sub-issues of this, but these were the top 5 votes. Thank you everybody who came to that meeting and helped clarify what is important to us. And we want to, in this meeting, bring up those issues and then gather afterwards to come up with questions for the county council and the government to answer in regards to these matters, that we can't continue forward with any more expansion in geothermal until we've dealt with what we've learned in PGV now. Like Harry Kim said, we didn't know anything. Now we do. So let's not lose that information and lose that knowledge. Let's make our decisions together as a community with this knowledge. Also, I have relocation applications by the map out there. I would suggest everybody who might be interested in relocation to apply. It took me 10 years to even come to that decision. It was that hard. You don't have to take relocation. but I would advise at least get yourself on the list, because in case you need to have that option, and I'd be glad to work with anybody up with it. We will probably be in our house for about at least 30 more days. Anybody's welcome to come over and talk to me about it, would be fine. And then I just have a thank you. I was just given a note to let you know what it's like being by a geothermal rig. Besides the noise, which we've always had in every other drilling, clanging, banging, we have diesel exhaust that fills our house and surrounds our house every night and every morning. Then the wind shifts and goes to Leilani Estates. Sorry, guys. But this is a new thing that's happening, and I can't explain why it is. I don't know what they're doing under the ground. But if you've ever stood by a helicopter when it's on the ground and the blades are still spinning, and it's that woo, 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 woo. That is what it's like in my house all night long. But it's gone past the point of sound, and it's into a vibration that hits woo, 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 just at about that frequency. I don't understand it. I don't know the damage. I'm amazed that I'm still keeping sane at this point at day 63. And again, I thank everybody's love and energy they've sent to me, because I'm getting it, and I thank you. But we can't have any more drilling in Puna. I need to make a suggestion, because we do need a health study. There's been one done a long time ago, but we have a lot more people. What I do is I have a calendar on the table. Whenever I hear anything, feel anything, write it down. Whatever I'm experiencing, write it down. Being by geothermal before, when it first started, it was like having a puzzle upside down where you can't see it and trying to figure out how the pieces work together. We have some pieces turned over, and that's what we're going to share with you tonight. But if you can, keep a log of what's going on, because we find out we're all experiencing the same thing at the same time. The Puna Geothermal Complaint Line, 965-6233. Call it. If you feel in danger, call 911, please. And a little housekeeping. All these meetings we're doing on our own, out of our own pockets. All the maps, all the Xeroxing for information. The renting of this room was $250. If any of you can donate anything, Sarah over in the corner, she's running the front, make donations. And one more thing we'd like to ask is, the county council has never come out here before. This is an opportunity we have never had, and I really appreciate that. If anybody can make leis or bring leis for them, we would like to share our aloha with them, because these people can help us.